In this Lunch and Learn webinar recap, I'll be covering the HomeGauge Companion app.
I'll be showing the app on Android on the left and iOS on the right. So before I kind of flip over to the apps, I'm actually going to open up the HomeGauge software here and just go over the basic workflow, the best standards of practice when you're using Companion. And this one, it just helps you use the most fresh version of your template for every report. So later on, when you're editing your report and you want to maybe save a comment to your template or things like that, it just minimizes this situation where you might get locked out of editing. So this is a workflow that minimizes that, so you have the most flexibility and you're always using the latest version of your template. I'm just going to go and we'll go to HG Services first, and I'm going to download my online appointment. That's the best practice for starting a report because you can link up your agreement to get signed and an invoice, and you can take payments online, and we send out emails automatically. I've got my appointment here. I'm going to put an X next to it and hit download. I'll hit OK. Next, and I would do this all the night before the inspection. Don't wait till the next morning because you never know what you're going to wake up to. Could be like no power, you know. So I'm going to go to my report here and I'll select open. And right now, customers already filled out. Report info is already filled out. I'll go and I'll select my template, any of the templates. And then after that, typically, I'll just hit save and I'll send the report to the cloud. Some inspectors might go in and start filling some things out ahead of time, looking at the MLS and just knocking out some of their styles of materials or things they can pull off the internet. So if you want to do that, go ahead and then just hit save. And then go to HG Services and you'll do send report to cloud. I'll select the report and I'll hit transfer and I'll hit OK. And now I'm kind of done with the software at this point. Using this method, I don't have to send a template to the cloud and get it on my device. I don't have to, I basically can just minimize my steps. So all I'm doing is downloading the appointment, opening it up, selecting my template on my software. So it's the most current version of the template. And then I send it up to the cloud. And then kind of all within the same step, I'll go and grab it off the cloud and get it onto my device. So I'm ready to go in the morning and I don't really have to do anything. Even if, let's say that there's no electricity in my house or the internet goes out. I've got everything. I can just roll out the door. So what I can do here is I'll go to Companion. On the left, we've got Android. And to download the report from the cloud, I'll go over here to the three dots. I'll go to HG Services. If you've never used the device before, make sure to go to username and password and check off the box here to always remember. So that's what you want to do first. But then after that, go to HG Services and do Get Report from Cloud. And I'm going to do this one companion way, and I'll select download at the bottom. And then after that, what I'll do is I'll go to open report and I'll see it there at the top. Are you sure you want to? And I'll say, okay. And there it is. And immediately it pops me to the customer's name. And that's basically just for you to verify that you're in the right report. You don't really have to do anything. You can go up here to the hamburger menu up at the top left, and then you can start navigating through the report. So that's how you do it on Companion Android. And then for iOS, we've got, go to the top right corner and I'll go to menu, HG Services, Get Report from Cloud. It's kind of the same, just it looks slightly different. We've got a success, and then I'll kind of back out of there and I have to hit done. I'm in a report right now, so I actually am going to go to open. And once I go to open, I select my report and hit OK. And there we go. And I'm in my report. So that's just basically the best workflow for getting reports onto your device and getting started. So the Android, it has this lovely hamburger menu that kind of helps you access the main structure of the report a little faster. With Android, I'll kind of start there. And when you first get to a house, a lot of times you might want to just set up the structure, and you might want to exclude something or perhaps duplicate a room or a system. That'll be the first thing that I will show everyone. So I'm over here, and in order to, let's say, exclude something or duplicate, click on where it says components with the house next to it. And this is the area where you can do that. If I want to, let's say there's not a garage, I can do a long press on the garage and just hold my finger there for a minute, and it gives me this little side menu where I've got different choices to exclude. I can duplicate it, so I can do, carport, garage, extra garage, stuff like that. And I can also reorder my duplications. So let's say for garage, I'm going to exclude it, so it gives me an X there and it won't appear on the report. For the iOS over here, we'll do a similar thing. So I'm going to click on components that has the house icon, and then I'll do a little long press on garage, and I can do exclude, and there you go. It just excludes it and renumbers everything. Next, I'll show you how to duplicate. So let's say that you're a person who, when you're starting an inspection, if you go to rooms, you'll notice with this template, it's rooms, kitchen has its own component, bathroom has its own component. All those are already broken out, but let's say you want to actually break out rooms further and you want to do like a living room and an office, or maybe an upstairs, a downstairs, something like that. How you do that is you go to rooms, and I can do a long press. I can also just tap on rooms, and then this little 3-dot menu, it has some options that are the same. So the 3 dots, I can do exclude, duplicate, up, down. And then the 3 dots will always have this main menu at the bottom. This top area will kind of change depending on what you've tapped on, but then this will always be available. So I'm going to duplicate rooms. So I hit duplicate. I can go in here and I can just type whatever I want and put in something kind of custom, or I can use the drop-down menu and choose from some of the preloaded options. So let's say I did living room, and I'll do office. And then once I do that, I can hit OK. If I wanted to go further and add more duplications, I could, go back up here to the 3 dots, click duplicate. I could add something else. I could type it in or just choose from the drop-down. And I can reorder these too. So, maybe I want to move office down. I can click that, get it all aligned. Over on the iOS side, very similar. So I can do a long press on rooms, or I can go up, highlight rooms, and I can choose menu. And I can go to duplicate, choose the drop down for living room, office, okay. I can highlight rooms again and continue on to add another duplication if I'd like. And so on and so forth. So that's how you do the duplications. I'm going to next move on to just starting to fill some things out. So for Android, I'm going to click on the 3 lines up at the top, and customer report info, that's already filled out. Miscellaneous is here, and you can do forms. So if you're from Florida, or if you are a termite inspector, you can add forms here. I'm not really going to go into that right now. I will put a plug in for WebWriter. WebWriter has a new forms feature that's pretty sweet. And even if you're using HomeGauge Companion for your report, and you might want to just try out a smoother experience doing like a WinMit 4-point or termite form, you can use WebWriter just exclusively for that. And it's pretty nice. So I encourage you all to check it out. This top area, if I swipe over, if I had information from the appointment, it would show right here. So, if you have somebody working in your office and they put a lockbox code on the appointment, and you're like, What is it? You can open it up and just scroll to where it says inspector, and it will have information there that might be handy for you to know. Radon, invoice, stuff like that. I'm going to go to the 3 lines again, and we'll just go to general info. So you get to the property and you're like, all right, let's take a picture of the front. At the bottom here, I've got cover pictures. I can tap on that and I've got some options. So for Android, I've got an icon here with a camera with an arrow, and then 2 kind of like old school film strips. So basically what these mean, if I click on the one with the camera, it allows me to take a picture. And with Android, you can take multiples back to back. So if you have several and you don't want to accept every one as awesome each time and you just want to go snap, 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 you can do that now. That's kind of a newer feature. And then you press the check at the bottom and it drops all those pictures in. So I just added 4 pictures really quickly like that. So that's a cool new thing with Android. If I click the icon right here, the camera that has the arrow, that allows me to go to the devices gallery. So depending on your style, you might prefer to take pictures with just within your phone's camera. So you might just want to go to your phone's camera and maybe take pictures doing stuff like that, depending on your flow. And if you do that, you can just click on the camera with the arrow and it will access your gallery where you might have a bunch of different photos. So I've got my cover photo there. You have an option to add a picture label here. Cover front. And that'll show up at the bottom of the photo. And so that's added. You'll notice these arrows at the bottom picks 5 of 5. It's what's showing. If I hit the arrow over, it kind of shows all those bunch of pictures that I kind of took using the camera. So your pictures are in there. I'm going to hit the arrow, the back arrow, just to get back to this one general info spot. When you're filling out general info, it's super, super easy. Just tap on the option. So like type of building, and then this little 3 dots right here, this is where you get your selections. So I'll say single family, and then I can just, work down the list here. And as I'm going, a little check will show up showing that everything's completed. And once you get done, you can also exclude. So maybe there wasn't a radon. You can basically do a long press and you can choose to exclude anything. If for whatever reason you want to put a reminder in for yourself for something, you can always do a long press and hit the flag button, and that'll put a little flag next to it. The flag is something that there's a searching capability that you can use later on, kind of when you're done with your inspection, that goes to find all flagged, and it will bring you right to everything that you've put a flag on. If you're just maybe reminding yourself to go to the internet and look something up about this weird style or material and that kind of thing. To remove a flag, just do a long press and you can hit flag again. And I'm going to exclude this termite. This box down here too, it's also a free type field, so you don't have to choose the pre-selected options. If there's something custom that's not in the list, you can just tap in there and type. You can also, in all these areas, you can just tap and you can do your handy dandy microphone icon and you can talk into your device. All right, so that is Android's general info, and then the iOS works pretty much the same. I'll go back out to home, go to general info. We've got those 3 dots down at the bottom, cover picture, all the different types. So let's go to cover picture. Same kind of deal here, just slightly different. The orange, those are going to be video options, and the green is going to be camera options. Video gallery, take a video. Picture gallery, take a picture. I'm going to go to my picture gallery and grab my cover photo, go to general info, and this all works the same. So type of building, I can hit the 3 dots at the bottom. I can multi-select too. So, in attendance, for example, I can hit the 3 dots and do customer and seller, and it kind of, if you go back into it and choose something else, it will just add it to it. And so you just fill that out. One thing I do point out, I don't recommend people do this, honestly, at this point, but on a mobile device, you can click on Report Introduction, and it will have all your general information stuff. And this is stuff that people don't typically need to modify. And I honestly just recommend ignoring it in the app, because you'll notice there's some different kind of coding and whatnot that you'll see here. I don't know. It's just, what does repair replace mean? What is good? What is, those kind of things. That's boilerplate that usually sticks in your template. If you do need to modify that thing, maybe just do it when you're reviewing your reporting in your desktop. I just think it's an easier experience. And if you went in and modified stuff here, maybe you'd press something, and I wouldn't crazy mess anything up, but you never know. To add an auto comment from the library though, that's okay. That's pretty easy. You just go up here for iOS and you can click the magic wand. And if you wanted to drop in an additional comment, you can highlight it and then tap this bar at the bottom that says as single. It will populate it properly, but going in and trying to tap into any of this text and using your fingers to make it just perfect for wording, I just don't suggest it. We are done with that. Got our components kind of already structured and set up. So I'm going to go back to my Android and click the 3 lines for the hamburger menu, and we'll just go into this first component here. So I'll do it on iOS as well. And for folks who've never used Companion before, if you're using Android, you'll notice all the way at the top, there's some items and you can slide through them. So we're looking at all the inspection items right now. And you can tap on the different severities. So these column headers might be different than yours, but they would match your template. And let's see. So for Android, you can swipe over from right to left, and next we'll go to styles and materials. When you go to a section, you go to the overview. This area and this area, you're not really going to modify. They just kind of come in the template typically. But down here at the bottom, that's where you can add your overview section pictures. They're your complementary pictures that you're not going to be saying has a defect. It's just complementary ones. So if I click on the section pictures, we have that same kind of familiar area where we can click the camera, or for my case, I'm going to click the arrow and locate my section pictures. That's what I'll do. And then after that, I'll hit this arrow at the bottom left just to go back one. So I've got my section picture there. And then for the iOS, I'm over here on the right. I'm looking at all my inspection items. iOS, you've got inspection items, style and materials, and overview at the bottom. So it's a little bit different. So I'll click on styles and materials. I've got that. I'll go to overview. And I'll add my overview of my attic. And then I'll go back. Next, I probably would move on to styles and materials. And then to fill out styles and materials, it's super easy. A lot of Companion people love this because it's not just the roof covering. It's like the whole roof component. So you can inspect, and then you might already know all the answers in your head, and you can kind of sometimes knock this stuff out pretty quickly. So let's say I'm like asphalt shingles, and I filled that out. I can do multiples as well. There's an area at the bottom where you can add extra info. Maybe there's something that a style and material that you don't know what it is, or it's not on this list. You can add that extra info, that item in the extra info area. That's a little tip. Once you fill that out, if you go to the top here and click on that little drop down, then you go to the next one, like roof type, click on the drop down, viewed roof covering from. If there's something that you need to flag, do a long press right here up at the top where it says what item it is, and you can do a flag, and it'll pop a flag by it. Maybe you need to exclude something. So I'm on chimney. I can do a long press here and I can hit exclude. And yeah, so you can just cruise through this, get everything filled out. For the Android over on the left, it's a little bit different. I can tap on anything and fill out my answers. I got my extra info at the bottom here. To move on, I can do a couple things. I can actually hit the arrow over on the right to move to the next thing or to move back. And so a lot of people like that. They can just go to the next one, go to the next one. And that way they don't have to take just an extra tap to choose. They can just hit the arrow and it goes to the next one. So that's just a little bit different with Android. Use the arrow navigations or navigate with the drop-down menu. For Android as well, if you're wanting to put a flag on something, let's say roof ventilation, there's something unique there. You can basically hit the 3 dots up at the top to do your flag, or maybe you want to exclude something, you can do the 3 dots to exclude. So that's how you do style and materials. We'll move on to the next section here, which is the inspection items. I'm going to go to inspection items, Android on the left, iOS on the right. So easy to do. I can just tap on any of these little items here and it will highlight the column header that I'm choosing. So if I choose a repair replace item, most templates are going to automatically select the summary for that item when you start filling out the comment and the picture. Not all templates are designed like this. You would know if your template doesn't do this, and you have to kind of manually select what summary it goes to. But a lot of people do use this kind of feature where once they hit repair replace, it automatically selects the summary. You'd fill that out. You know, if you have an exclude, you can hit the X there. If you need to flag anything, you can do a long press and the flag just automatically appears. And when you are doing a flag, there's a little bit of a delay, but I've got one on my device and it will show soon. You want to basically do a long press on the word. So to get the flag to show or to go away, you'll do a long press right here or right there. And that will show. And then if you want it to go away, long press again. Same with iOS over here, long press. It's not even that long with iOS. You just kind of tap it pretty quickly and you can get a flag or remove it by doing the opposite. So let's say roof coverings. You go into roof coverings and you've got some stuff you want to call out. You've got some picture and a comment. You'll tap the arrow right here and that will go into that area where you can add your pictures and your comments. iOS, we've got roof covering up here and we're going to tap this arrow. All right. So this is just going to be the same thing over and over every time you add a comment. So I'll just break it down first before we start adding things. This top right here kind of tells you just where you are if you're lost. And then this little box, suitcase kind of thing, that is your CYA. So if you're using the CYA feature, you can always tap on that. And it gives you little quick check answers about that part of the inspection. So that's your CYA, super handy if you're brand new and like a very green inspector. It's good to just have things like that you can look at really quick. And then over here for iOS, it's this little book. So that accesses all the CYA information. And CYA information, that's just for you, the inspector, just little hints and things like that. It's not in the report. Right here, it says item 1 of 1. So right now we haven't added anything. This is kind of like a blank space for comment. And as we add, if we start to itemize things, you'll see where it will say maybe item 1 of 2 and things like that. With HomeGauge Companion, it's pretty cool because you can take a picture first and just leave the comment blank. If you just don't feel like adding a comment at that time, maybe you're busy and you've got your agent and your buyer and they're following you around and asking you a bunch of questions and your train of thought is on them, but you're trying to multitask. So you're taking pictures and you're just going to leave the comments blank. The beauty of this is that you can do that. And then maybe when they leave you alone and you're up in the attic by yourself, you can pop in your comments. I'm just going to demonstrate that, just how to take pictures for Android. I'm just going to ignore this comment spot and I'll go down to the bottom. It's a little bit different. I've got a camera right here and it's got a camera with an O, meaning, and then I have a camera right here with, then I also have a film strip that has nothing and a film strip with a 1, which is itemized. So these are both video. This will allow you to take a video and this will allow you to create a new itemized video. This will allow you to take a photo and then this one will create a new itemized photo. And then all the way over to the right, that is your film canister, I guess, and that will allow you to access your device's gallery. So let's say that we're hanging out and our agent and our buyer, they're following us around and we just want to snap a few photos. And all these photos are about the same issue. So I go here and I click on my camera with the O and I'm like, okay, how's it going? Yeah, this house, yep, the weather's wonderful. I'm glad your kids are visiting and cool that you're retiring to this area and you're chatting with them, but you're also inspecting. So you snap up like 3 photos and you're like, okay, cool. Moving on to the next thing. And they're still bothering you and talking to you. And you get to something else that is still about roof coverings, but it's not the same exact comment. So like, let's say first comment is roof coverings and you have nail pops that you're talking about. So we'll add one. And then you basically need to add another comment, maybe about trees that are on the roof. And so you have to itemize that. It's still within roof coverings, but you just need to itemize to a second comment. And the way to do that with the camera is to click this little camera with the eye. So right now you'll notice it's item 1 of 1. I snapped 5 pictures for this one thing about nail pops. I haven't added my comment yet, but then I get to my second comment or observation about trees and contacting the roof. I'm going to start with this one, the camera with the eye. Gives you a pop-up here that says this will first add a new itemized comment and then a photo. I'll just say cool, okay. Brings me to my camera where I can take a picture. I can say okay. And you'll notice now it says item 2 of 2. I can click on this arrow and I'm on the first item that has 5 pictures attached to it. I can go to the second item and I have that 1 photo. I'm going to add a couple more photos to that. So let's say I took my 1 photo of a tree, but I want to add more pictures. To do that, I wouldn't click the eye again. The eye would create another separate comment. I want to actually click the O, the camera with the O at this point, and take a picture. Or perhaps maybe I want to go to my film canister here and maybe pull something from my gallery. Camera with the arrow to go to my gallery and up a picture there. I'm going to hit the back arrow. So now I've got 3 pictures. Maybe my agent, my buyer are gone and I want to go in and add the comments. I can do that. So I'm on my first comment here. So I hit the arrow and I'm on my item 1 where I've got 5 pictures and I want to add a comment to this. I just tap into this middle box and I've got a couple selections here, probably too many, but I'm just going to hone in on the main ones. Add an auto comment. So I would add an auto comment. I can also, maybe I don't have an auto comment, I just want to speak and do voice to text. I could do that. I could do edit comment and speak. And all of a sudden Google comes up. I'm going to go back and I will create my own comment. So I'll tap in there. Normally I do edit comment and speak, but it doesn't work when we're screen sharing like this. So I'll just do edit this comment and I'll say tree limbs. Something, you know, it would be a better comment. And then once I'm done adding my comment and it all looks good, I can actually just hit that arrow. And a lot of times people want to hit done here, but you don't really need to. So you can just hit the arrow at the bottom and it will go back and you'll see your comment about the tree limbs, and you'll have 5 pictures to do with that comment. Let's see here. If we move on and hit the arrow, we've got our second comment. We snap some pictures about that. If we tap into that box, I'll go to my auto comment and I'll just say there were nail pops for that one. I'll choose insert as one comment and it adds it there. So that's kind of like one way to use Companion in a situation where people are talking to you, which happens pretty frequently from what I understand, and you still want to be engaged with your client, but you want to just add the pictures to the right spot. That's a method. You can just go into, just keep the comment blank and then use the cameras to add pictures to the first comment, so the camera with the O. And then whenever you get to an itemized situation, when you first itemize, you do the camera with the eye. It will create a second tab or a second comment, blank comment, where you can add photos. Navigate using these. If you need to add more to one, or you're walking around the house and you see something else, you can, go back and continue to add pictures to the different. With iOS, it's a similar situation, just the icons look a little bit different. So here, let's say we're doing camera first. We'll hit the orange camera with the O, take our photo. With iOS, we do have to do keep photo. We don't have that rapid option with iOS, unfortunately. If we wanted to do a video, there we go. We can hit record, and then hit stop, keep video. So down at the bottom, pics one, videos one. Maybe we want to add our comment afterwards. We can tap into the middle, do add auto comment here. We've got our lovely list of auto comments, insert as single. So iOS kind of flip-flops. This time the insert as single is over here on the left side. And there we go. We've got our comment and our pictures and our video. We're still in roof coverings and we've come across something else that's a different comment. The way to do it with the camera first is to go down here and do the camera with the eye. Take your photo, keep your photo, and basically you'll notice now it's a fresh comment. It's item 2 of 2, shows 1 picture. If I need to add pictures from a gallery, I can do that by clicking the little canister. And then here I would click on either the orange folder to get to my videos or the green folder to get to my gallery of photos. So once I'm done doing that, I can back out. Maybe I'll add my comment at this point. The same thing works with iOS. I can edit a comment by doing a voice to text. It's just, it doesn't have a specific button for it, but it's super easy. You just click edit this comment. And then you make use of your handy dandy little microphone icon that's right there to add, to start doing the voice to text. But for the sake of this webinar, I'm just going to add an auto comment. So I'll just go in here and do nail pops. I'll choose as single so it stays within the same comment and pictures. And again, you can navigate here and you've got your 2 itemized comments. That's how you do it with the camera first, but you can also do it with the comment first. So say I'm going to go back here and I'm moving on to flashings is good, skylights good, 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 everything's good, but the wiring, we'll say repair replace for wiring. I'll click the arrow to go into here, and maybe I want to add my comment first. I can tap into the middle box, choose auto comment or edit this comment. I'll go to choose auto comment and I will say light didn't work. At this point, I'm going to choose add as single at the bottom and I've got my comment. I can go ahead and I can take a picture now. So I can go into either, one of these camera options, or I can go to my film strip, which I will do. So I can pick a real picture. We'll say, That didn't work. I can choose to put a label too, so if I need to describe it, and then I can go back, and there I go. I've got my picture and my comment. Maybe you've got another electrical comment that you want to add here, and you can do that in a comment first way by, let's say that we want to go in here and we want to tap into this box. This is where I might make use of the add auto comment to new. You can't really see the rest of it here, but it says to new itemized comment. So instead of itemizing with the camera and creating a new blank comment, I can go with the comment being the first thing to kind of start that by tapping there. I can choose my comment. I can do multiple comments too, if that makes sense. And then I'll go down here at the bottom and I'll do as single. And so now I've got the 2 comments. Let's say that maybe I knew there's going to be more than 2 comments. I can go to add auto comment and I can choose a few. And I can also choose, when I choose 3 or 4 different comments, I can do as itemized. And what that will do, it will break out all those comments kind of in one quick fashion. So you'll see I've got up here at the top, 1 of 5. And then because I chose multiple comments to insert, and then I chose to insert them as itemized, it broke them out for me just kind of in that one step. So that can be really convenient as well. And then you would pretty much just navigate using these arrows to here to add pictures to whatever comment belongs to the pictures. You'll also notice that down here at the bottom left, there's the summary option. When I first filled this out, I did the repair replace down here. And so that is going to automatically select the summary. And so when I'm here, any comment that I added, it's going to show summary S. So the summary, if I go to the next one, all of them are going to have the summary pre-selected. But maybe one of them shouldn't go to the summary. I can go down here to summary and I can tap on that, unselect it, and hit OK. Maybe one's just like a super minor cosmetic thing or for your information. So you can always go down to this little box here and manually choose your summary. If you're a multi-summary person, you'd be able to do that. That's iOS. Same thing kind of goes for the companion for the Android. So let's go over here to the hamburger menu. And we'll go to roofing. I can go in here and click RR and hit the arrow, add a comment. Or I can add multiple ones and do insert as itemized. And now if you look up at the top, I have 2 tabs. So that's kind of the basics there of filling out the report. I'm going to point out something that's really, really handy when you're done inspecting and before you leave the property. Whenever you're done, before you're in your car and you're about to leave and you're like, man, did I do everything? Take a minute to, on Android, go to the bottom here, and you have this little thing, drop-down menu that says First Unanswered, and then a button that says Find. If I click on the little drop-down, I have a bunch of different unanswered options. I can go to the first completely unanswered thing. Maybe I just want to check my styles and materials, and that's the main thing that I want to make sure. Maybe I want to go and visit the first flagged items. There's also a voice recording feature that sometimes people use. You'll see it right over here. I didn't actually demo that. Not many people use it, but I'll quickly show you. There's a voice recording feature where you can record and then stop. And it gives you these little tiny voice recordings that don't show up in the report, but it's more of like a note to self that you can listen to in the desktop software later if you are writing a report. Back to this little first unanswered situation here. I'm going to go and choose first unanswered, and then I'm going to click the find, and it will bring me to the first thing that I've not filled out, and it will give me a reason. It will say this inspection item has not been answered. I'll say okay, and it brings me to my first inspection item. I can go back to here and I can go to the next unanswered and it brings me to the next one. Maybe I don't want to pay attention to that because it will check every single answer. Maybe I actually just want to know my styles and materials that I've missed. So I can go to first style and material. And then I click so I choose it and then I click find. And it brings me to my first style and material. I can go up here and I can go to the next one. iOS, it's in a different location, but it's up here at the top. So all the way at the top for iOS, you can go here and choose your first style and material, and it brings you to the first one. Then you would go here and do next unanswered, and it brings you to the next one. Go to the top again, go to next. That's a good thing to do before you leave the house, just to make sure you've got all your styles and materials filled out. I would say knock out the find unanswered, at least for styles and materials. I know a lot of inspectors purposely might be leaving certain inspection items blank, and they're fine with that. And they don't want it to flag every little thing. But styles and materials, that should be common sense. Knock all that out so you don't get home and be like, I forgot the brand name of this or that. Before we send this up to the cloud, I also want to point out all the way at the bottom. So if I scroll down here and I look at the bottom of the iOS, I can click on summary. And sometimes people like to do a little presentation. Again, there's a little bit of a lag here, so you don't see anything right now, but there actually is a picture. It's not showing it to you. This will show all your summary items where you can kind of swipe from left to right and go through summary items. And if you wanted to show your clients, that's a nice way to just kind of wrap things up. Down here for the companion for the Android, same kind of deal. Got my first item, I can just swipe right to left and I can scroll through the summary items and chat with the client about them if I wanted to. And then kind of to conclude, when you're done with your report, you can go up here to the three dots. You can always hit save. You know, autosave does happen, but it's always nice to hit save before you go do something big like go in your car and take a drive. Always hit save. You can always, and before you kind of like power down and things like that, you can't always assume that the autosave caught it right before you maybe close your device. So I always say hit save before doing something outside the device. And then to kind of finish up, you'll go to menu, and then to send the report back to your desktop software, you'll go to menu and then HG services. And then you'll choose send current report to cloud, and it will go ahead and do that. For the Android, same kind of deal, HG services, and then you got the send current report to cloud. When you are on your HomeGauge desktop software, you'll go to HG services and you'll do get report from cloud. You'll get this little pop-up here. You'll just say yes. And then you'll see your report in the cloud. It's going to be the one at the top. The one right below it is the original one that you sent up that doesn't have anything filled out. You can always check the upload date and time. We're just going to hit that and do download. Once it's downloaded, you get a pop-up that says, hey, this is already on your computer. Do you want to replace it? I do, because the one on my computer is just blank. There are certain situations where you might not want to replace it. If you're working in teams, there might be a situation where you're fine creating a copy. Those are not as common, but most people are just going to say, yes, I do not want a blank report. I just want the one that I completed. So once you download it, you can go back to open, and you've got your report there, and you'll select open. You can go up here to the top drop down, and you have all those find unanswered, flagged, all those kind of things that you can go through. For companion users, because at this time you can't annotate pictures on your mobile device for companion, usually this is what the workflow looks like. You'll go to edit all photos, go to find first, and this edit all photos feature just brings up each photo back to back, so you can kind of knock out your circles and your lines in a fast fashion. So I've got the next one, got my little video here, and I could just go in and go through everything, and it will go through all your pictures for you. After you're done doing that, it's just pretty much a review and polishing up anything that you might have missed. So if anybody has any questions, I'll take a couple minutes just to answer any questions you might have about what we covered. I know it was a lot.
There is a question in the chat.
Okay, what is the best way to review items with your client at the end of the inspection? Hopefully I answered that by showing the summary at the bottom there. So down here at the bottom of iOS, you just tap on summary. Again, there is a picture there. It's just kind of delayed. And then for the Android, you just scroll down to the bottom of this section here. And again, it's a little delayed, but normally there's pictures there. They might show up in a minute. But that's kind of the best way, I think, Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. We will get this for you and sent out onto our YouTube channel. So go there, and if you subscribe, you'll get notified as soon as we upload our latest content. But thanks for joining. And if you have any follow-up questions, shoot me an email, Suzie at HomeGauge. Yep. And congrats to our winners.
Next time, join us a little early and you can go onto the Wheel of Lunch Fortune.
All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Go out there and do some awesome inspections.